I've been surfacing some like really deep rooted stuff, trying to identify like these core beliefs that I have about myself. And it's been making me feel like a lot of regret with my past relationship. And he just started like seeing someone else. So that kind of triggered this like inferiority or like not good enough kind of complex. Like, I don't think I've ever felt this anxious in my entire life. Can't sleep. Like it's been pretty rough the past couple weeks. Like, I've never depended on a relationship, but I feel like as I got older, that got worse just because there's like this social stigma. Like, my brothers are both getting married and having kids, and everyone around me is having kids. Like, I'm 31 now and starting over, and it's just kind of like, oh God. I hate feeling out of control of my own mind, and I want that security in myself. I feel like I lost a sense of how to communicate with people. Like, I don't know like what to say or do. And so that fear comes up. So I am struggling between like wanting community and wanting fulfilling relationships and being afraid of that. So like,
well, I was in a place, I had recently gone through a breakup of 6 years, a 6-year relationship. And I hadn't had any time between relationships that I had for myself to really get to know myself better, to acknowledge those parts of me that I was just on autopilot. I was in a mental space where I was looking at, drugs and, not like the bad drugs, but like the like antidepressants and stuff like that. So I was feeling very low.
So looking at where you were to where you are today, what's the biggest thing that's changed for you since working with us, would you say?
I would say procrastination was a big thing for me. And I think it was a symptom of depression in my personal case. So a lot of what's changed is we joke during our 12 weeks about like the couch alley, like just sitting on the couch. And I like for now, like I really can't sit on the couch too long because like I just feel like I could be doing something more productive with my time. And if I do sit on the couch or need that kind of zone out time, then I watch documentaries or something more like educational. And now I'm like in thralls of starting a business too, which having limiting beliefs I realized was like the main reason why I didn't do anything before in the past couple of years. So helping still resolve that and then push myself forward to a better headspace and a better life.
What did you like most about working with us?
I mean, can I say everything?
Sure.
Because everything.
Gold star.
Yay!
Right?
Honestly, the gold star was a pretty high on that list there too. It was just the personability of both of you, just and also the lack of judgment, the lack of criticism, the acknowledgement that everyone goes through their own stuff, and you all were very open with your own stories as well. So that was like helpful in terms of relating to you and like opening up more. And I felt very comfortable in a very comfortable space.
Like one of the ways that we measure things is through a survey where we ask things like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your self-love? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you trust your own thoughts and feelings? And we asked you these questions before we worked together. And when we first asked them, it was like a 1, a 2. You were like way on the one side. On the end of working together, you had everything as the other end of the scale. How do you feel to have this kind of, love and trust in yourself now?
I never knew that so much of myself I was holding back. The biggest realization I had was along the lines of like I think it was a quote that you guys told me one time. It wasn't your external circumstances that affect your internal beliefs. It's the opposite. So it's your internal like perspectives that affect your external circumstances. So like bad stuff can happen, negative things can enter into your life, but how you look at it and how you acknowledge that like you are your own worst enemy and how you can actually have the power to change that and have the choice to change that. So I have been on this different kind of path ever since.
When you came to us, you had a specific diagnosis. How do you feel about that diagnosis today?
When I first got the diagnosis, I was almost relieved because like all of a sudden what I had has a name. But then after working with you guys and working through, like, I just felt more normal again. Now I don't really think I have a diagnosis. I don't look at it yet or anymore as a diagnosis or something that I am lacking or need to drug myself to be normal, quote unquote. So
how much time had you spent in therapy total?
I would say 4 years,
Okay.
non-consecutively, but yeah.
What do you think was different in working with us than what you experienced in therapy?
Well, the biggest difference would be, I feel like, well, at least with because I've had a few different therapists, but the biggest difference that I found was there's less structure in therapy. There's less getting straight to the point. It's a lot of like, how do you feels, and like, you know, allowing you to kind of just vent for an hour, and it's not really productive at all. And a lot of them are very like trigger happy with medication and things like that. With you guys, it was a lot more structure, a lot more like getting straight to the point, getting straight to all of these things that I never even considered before or no one ever told me about. And it was allowing myself to like formulate the structure in my head and then all of a sudden it just clicked, and I was able to manifest things into my life that I wasn't open to before. And that's how I realized that it was working.
And do you feel like that structure gave you the tools and strategies that you need for the long run?
Yes. Tools are an incredibly important thing to have with mental health. And you guys have showed me a lot of very incredibly useful tools that I will absolutely carry on.
What do you think has shifted that now gives you the confidence that you will be able to have the relationship and love in your life that you've always wanted?
Awareness, which leads to self-confidence. And like I mentioned before, it's like that whole idea that like I can make my life whatever I want it to be. So it's literally the choice. Like, what does it come down to? And
can you see how a future relationship will be different than past relationships?
Absolutely. My past relationships were rooted in a lot of heavy codependency. I never really had the time to myself to really like figure it out for myself. And so now like it's such a different mindset where you have the confidence in yourself to like have the life that you want without another partner, but having that other partner, it's like this quote, it's like they make you happier, not happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, they complement you, what your trajectory already is.
And they compliment you over trying to be completed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would you tell someone who's considering working with us?
Do it. You won't be sorry. I may actually sign you up without your knowledge, and then you're going to be like excited about it. And then like, so matter of factly, just do it. You literally will, I 100% can tell you your life will be changed for the better.